All right, today we got a great one, guys. We're going to speak about how to rewire your brain and almost brainwash yourself for success, more positive thoughts, just a better overall life. So, without any further ado, all right, so before we talk about how to rewire your brain for success, let's talk about how your brain works. Most people think 90% of the same thoughts that they thought yesterday. So, the thoughts that we think over and over again become beliefs. And then these beliefs actually affect your nerve cells, right? So the nerve cells that are firing together constantly become strong and combined until they're kind of rigid. And they also become more automatic. And when they become automatic, then they in turn become subconscious. So step one to rewiring your brain is to be conscious. This is going to be extremely uncomfortable, especially in the beginning, because your body is linked to your brain. And you've been programming it for years and years with these negative thoughts that become negative beliefs, that become subconscious, and in turn become feelings. Now your body gets addicted to these feelings, right? So once you become conscious and you're able to remove those feelings, your body's still going to crave them, much like any other addiction. So if every day at 9 a.m. you're in traffic on the way to work and you're pissed off, right? Say you take off a day and it's 9 a.m., your body might just still produce the emotion to where you get pissed off at 9 a.m. at home for no reason, just because you're so used to it and your body's running on homeostasis for a process that you've done for years and years and years, getting pissed off at 9 a.m. in traffic 5 to 6 days a week for years. So removing that anger is going to be weird because your body's still going to crave that anger subconsciously. You're not going to understand why. Now, beyond being conscious, which is basically not falling into the subconscious treadmill that you've been on, right? That's all that is. But the next step is to actually start rehearsing your day. So rehearsing your day, sit down and you're going to think about everything that you're going to do that day or you plan to do, right? And you're going to kind of see your triggers, right? Usually I get mad at 9 a.m. in traffic. Usually I get upset with my coworkers. Usually I'm frustrated about this, I'm mad about this, I'm sad about that. So go through the day that you're expecting to have, but instead you're gonna rehearse a proper response to it, right? So if it's 9 a.m. and you're stuck in traffic, instead of getting mad or frustrated, whatever, you're gonna say, well, everybody's trying to go somewhere. It's not that big of a deal if I'm not going to be late. And even if I am going to be late, there are things I can do moving on to remedy that, right? Have a better response to the negative stimuli in your day while you're rehearsing. And why that's powerful is because your body doesn't know the difference between something that's happening right now in your mind and something that's happening right now in the real world. So say you use this practice and you rehearse the traffic jam today, right? And you go through it properly with positive thoughts and rationality, right? Then you go to work, it's 9 a.m. and the traffic jam happens. Now you do the same exact process and you think the same exact thoughts that you rehearsed. So now you're doing it twice a day as far as your body's concerned. So remember when I was talking about how the nerve cell fire and wire together? If you're doing anything twice a day consistently, you're going to become good at it, right? And not only become good at it, with the nerve cells wiring and firing together, it's going to become automatic and subconscious, right? Over a long enough time period, that's going to become your subconscious response rather than the negative one that you previously fell back into. So this is a form of kind of hijacking the system or upgrading your operating system. Now, the same way you're going to upgrade your operating system on an iPhone, you don't just press a button and then it's upgraded. You press a button and then you have to let it download. It takes a process, it takes a while. This is the same thing, it's not gonna happen overnight, but doing that twice a day continuously, remember, once rehearsed and once in real life, continuously is the process of upgrading your operating system. Now, step 3 is gonna be separating from the past. Your emotions are actually a record of the past, right? So if you're dwelling on difficult things in your past, loss, regret, anger, then what I previously just spoke about kicks in. Your body doesn't know the difference between that happening right now, you being angry right now, for something that's presently happening, or you being angry from something from the past. So either way, your body's saying, I'm in an angry state right now because of this, whether it's happening right now or not. And it's so real to your mind and body that a lot of times you can exhibit a physical response. So for example, people with anxiety, rather than dwelling in the past on their negative, they're dwelling in the future on their negative. So they're saying, okay, this might happen in the future, and they're getting worried about it. And through that, physical responses can actually happen, as far as they might start sweating, they might start shaking, they might physically, when you get that nervous feeling in your stomach, right? I actually used to have bad anxiety to the point where I used to run track, and a lot of times before track meets, I'm thinking of future bad scenarios, me falling on my face in front of everybody, me getting dusted in a race, which didn't happen much, or anything negative that could happen, and my body would actually create a physical response, right? I would start sweating, I would feel nervous and sick. I would actually throw up before a lot of track meets, because that's my body's response to the danger that my mind was subconsciously telling it I was in, right? I wasn't in any danger. I'm at a high school track meet, right? It's not that serious. It's the rational response. But if my mind is telling my body something bad is happening, something bad is about to go on, then my body has to get into survival mode and do what it has to do to be able to remedy that threat. So me throwing up is a response to my perceived danger I'm in, right? My body wants to enter fight or flight at this point, and I'm digesting food. But we can't digest food right now. We gotta either fight or flight. So I'm gonna throw up the food and preserve that energy to do what I gotta do to get myself out of this scenario. So this is very real responses to just thought. Like I said, a lot of videos, I've already said it. I might say it every video. This is a mental game. Or another example, say you got a VR set and you're on a roof in your VR set and you're looking over the edge. Now, if somebody taps your shoulder or nudges you and you lean forward, your body's gonna automatically produce a physical response. You might scream, get your stomach drop, a lot of different responses, because you understand consciously that you're not in any danger. You're probably sitting in your living room, right? But your mind does not, your subconscious mind does not understand that you're not on the edge of a building. So it automatically is gonna produce those physical responses, right? You can tell yourself, hey, self, I'm not in any danger. But once you get tapped like that, at that point, it's kind of out of your control. Your body's gonna do what it feels it needs to do. Now, step 4 is to treat your mind/body because they're connected like a child. So what would you do with a young child? You would raise it up properly, and you would put in standards and rules that child has to fall under, so that it grows up not just being wild and thinking it can do whatever it wants to do. If you let your kid watch unlimited amount of TV every day, and then you decide, you know what, that's probably not the best for you, I'm gonna limit your TV, or I'm gonna take your TV time out. A toddler or a young child is gonna throw a tantrum because they're not getting their way. Now, when you're falling back into these negative thought loops and these negative habits, and you try to change your life around, your body and your mind is gonna throw a fit. That's why when you're trying to get in shape and you're trying to do these things, there's so much pushback and feedback internally, right? The negative self-talk. Oh, I don't wanna go to the gym today. Oh, I don't wanna eat good today, That's your body's way of throwing a fit, throwing a tantrum. So it's important to daily discipline your body and mind. Just like how you would daily discipline a child that was throwing a tantrum, right? You would put them on timeout. You need to put in place practices that put your body on timeout, whether it likes it or not, when it's not cooperating with the system that you're trying to put in place, and not just punish your body, but also regimen it, right? Because if you had a kid, the kid has to go to school, the kid has to learn things. You're probably wanting to get some physical exercise, things of that nature that's gonna help it. So you're gonna put in systems that's gonna help your body, right? So gym, reading, writing, yoga, whatever it is that's gonna upgrade your life, you need to put in place. And then when you're having friction against that, you need to just buckle down and say, no, body, we're fasting right now. I understand that you're telling me you're hungry and you're sending hunger signals, but with 30% body fat, you're not going to starve, right? You're not in any danger. Going 16 hours without eating, you'll be fine. So you need to master your body and mind. But at first, it's going to give you childlike responses. That's why consistency is so important in all these steps, and all these steps should be done in order. Now, the last one's not really a step, meditation, right? It's how we're going to put all this together. So through this practice, we can really accomplish all these things. For example, when you're meditating and you're including breath work, you're sitting there super conscious, right? That's the whole goal. You're not falling back into subconscious, you're actually controlling your thoughts. Now, through meditation, you can do rehearsing. You could separate from the past and treating your body like a child. When you start meditating, after 5 minutes, you're going to start thinking all these random weird thoughts. The goal is to control them and center them back to your breath or whatever meditation practice you're using. But your body's going to push back. It's going to say, oh, all right, it's been 5 minutes. Let's get up. Oh, you got this thing today. You should worry about it. Oh, I'm kind of hungry, right? So once you set 10, 20 minutes aside, the discipline is to stay there for 10, 20 minutes meditating. If you progress to where it becomes an hour, then that's fine. However long it is, sit there meditating, right? And after a while, your body and your mind's gonna fall in line with the program, right? But all of these things can be done through meditation or prior to or after to meditation. But meditation is the catalyst that's gonna bring all this together. Control of your body and mind is really all you need in this life, right? So once you actually master your mind and body, your body can create drugs such as painkillers, anti-inflammatories. Like literally, your nervous system can do this. But it takes absolute mastery of your mind and body to be able to produce things like this. But most people aren't willing to put in that work, so they have to go look for it elsewhere. They have to go get pharmaceutical drugs from the drugstore and doctors and things like that. There's a reason Wim Hof's able to jump in freezing water and just breathe through it, right? Breath work, body work, all these disciplines are synergistic into creating superhumans. And that's the goal of today. Now, this is just a quick overview. If you want more on this subject, Dr. Joe Dispenza is a great source. His book, Becoming Supernatural, he has a lot of other ones. I'm gonna put them around here somewhere and check them out. Think about the subject, and again, slowly ease your way into it, right? 5-minute practice a day is not gonna kill you. It's not gonna even really affect your schedule at all. So I would suggest it. But that's the video for today. Hope y'all found it useful. I hope y'all find a way to implement these things. And until next time, I'm out.